Sorry about that. All right, we ready? All right, good afternoon. Thank y'all for being here. Took care of business on Saturday. We'll spend just a second talking about the LIU game, and then we'll move on to Virginia Tech. Achieved most of what we wanted to achieve in that game. A lot of people got reps. Thought it was a relatively clean football game overall. Kind of talk about each unit, just in a quick recap. Kickoff return. We'll start with special teams. I thought kickoff return was huge. Well blocked. Everybody, we'll talk about Winston here in a second, but I thought the thing was really well blocked. We effected a field goal there right at the end of the first half that led to points. I think our kickoffs with Staley and with Colt McGee were much better. There's some things we got to clean up in punt return. I wasn't pleased with that. Defense had a shutout, less than 100 yards. I think that's anytime you can do that, that's a good day. Fundamentally, we're still not as good as we need to be. Not myself, defense staff, not exactly pleased where we're at as far as that's going. And we got to have better situational awareness. I thought our communication was much better, though, from week one. Offense didn't punt. We were very good on third downs and fourth downs and in the red zone while the ones and twos were there. We've got to continue to improve on our physicality. It's still not where we need it to be. And we had a couple of mental errors in pass protection there in the first two drives that shouldn't happen, that Jarrett made nice plays to get out of them. We had one sack, but we got to be better in pass protection. So awards that we gave out from the LIU game. First of all, scout team players, Will Schoonover, who led us out, carrying the American flag. He did a great job for us last week. That was a neat deal for him. And then Mark Rucker was the offensive scout team. He did a great job really over 2 weeks. We kind of gave these awards based on 2 weeks so we don't give them out when we lose. Special teams with Winston Wright. He's right there at the top in the country and kickoff returns. Thought he'd done a phenomenal job the first 2 weeks with that. Offensively, again, kind of accumulative from 2 weeks. Sam James, he had 2 touchdowns in the game on Saturday, but he's been extremely effective through 2 games. Defensively, Jackie Matthews. Again, through 2 games, he's been our best tackler. He's played with the most energy. He's played with an edge. I really like what Jackie's doing on the defensive side of the ball. And so in our offensive line award went to Zach Frazier. Played really well. He played well through 2 weeks. He's on almost double the points, production points as the next offensive lineman. So pleased with his play. So that's kind of a wrap up for Long Island. Moving on to Virginia Tech. I know our fan base is excited about this game. Our players, we're educating them this week about the rivalry. I think it's probably on both sides. It's probably it's not probably, it is. It's a lot. From a fan base standpoint, the rivalry sticks out more than the players. Just because it hadn't been played on an annual basis since the early 2000s. And it's for me personally, it's been very interesting to learn about it, and I've enjoyed it. Coach Castile's been a really good point of contact for me as far as just learning about the emotions that go into the game and how both fan bases feel. So we're in the process of educating our players about it. It's a trophy game, playing for the Black Diamond Trophy. I think anytime you play one of those games, it matters. And by my calculation, I think Virginia Tech's had possession of the Black Diamond Trophy for over 6,000 days now. That's a long time. And so when you talk about Virginia Tech, it starts with special teams, and they do a tremendous job there. Coach Shebus, who's their special teams coordinator, I think he does a great job with techniques. It's important to them. I think they're, like I said, I think they're very well coached. Their specialists are very good. Kicker, punter, long snapper. They've been very good on kickoff return through 2 games. They've got the running backs back there, and he can run, and they do a really good job of protecting it. They've got a history of blocking punts, and they do a great job with what we call direct angle. Defensively, they're playing at a high level. I think it starts with the defensive line. They go too deep across the board. They got several NFL players up there. They got length to the boundary. 2 really good speed guys off the edge, and then they rotate 4 guys at D tackle that I think are all difference makers. And they do a great job within their scheme. And then Connor and Waller are great in coverage. I think they've played at a high level through 2 weeks. Waller may be playing as good as any corner in the country right now. Offensively, they want to run the ball. I don't think they're trying to hide that. They want to run the football. ball. They want to hit big plays. Burmeister is a dual threat. He's really fast. You know, that sticks out on film. He's running away from people, and you don't see that a whole lot at quarterback. He's running away from people. He's got really good top end speed. He's got a big arm. He's making a lot of throws to the field that you don't see. And so he's got a big arm. They're talented running backs by committee. They got several guys that do a nice job. And then the Turner kid at wideout. He's their big play threat, and he's made some plays down the field, and I think they'll continue to look at him in that direction. Finished up sellout crowd on Saturday. We're excited about it. I think it's going to be a tremendous atmosphere. It's Gold Rush. It's Hall of Fame weekend. And so with that, we'll take questions.
So, Neal, your run game, what kind of challenge against what looks like a very good defensive front for them? Obviously, you guys have had some struggles so far this season. So,
yeah.
Your thoughts there?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. You know, I think they do a really good job of their box doesn't change. I think they do a good job of keeping it simple for their linebackers. Their linebackers play downhill, and their D-line is tough. You know, they hold double teams very well. They're really good using their hands, getting off individual blocks, and so it's going to be a challenge for us, without a doubt. And we've got to get better. You know, they're good players. They do a really good job within their scheme, but we've got to get better fundamentally. We've got to get more physical up front, and that's the challenge for us this week.
Are they losing with Mitchell not being in?
Well, he's an NFL. He's a draft pick. You know, so now they've got depth at that position. You know, they've played 4 guys there early in the year, but he's what you want in a tight end. He can run. I hate it for the kid. He can run. He's good on the edge. You know, they can stand him up. He's good in the box. He can stretch it. He's good after the catch, which you don't see a whole lot at the tight end position. You know, so anytime you lose a player that caliber, I would think it would hurt you. But they do have depth at that position, John.
How do you go about accomplishing, making things more physical up front?
Well, we got to practice. You know, I think that's the thing is we got to demand. You know, and there were at times we were better. You know, and credit to Maryland. You know, they're big, and they caught us a little unexpected last week. And you know, footwork was better interior wise. Wasn't still what we need at tackle, so that's a work in progress. And the physicality we just got to practice. You know, we did that last week a little better, and we're gonna have to continue to do that and be really physical. And it's good for our defensive line as well.
You mentioned after the Maryland game the things they did on the nose and putting the big guys in the B gap. Do you anticipate that this week for Virginia Tech?
Yeah, it's in their package. You know, I think that, you know, and I don't want to speak for them, but, you know, they played really, really high-end defense 2 weeks in a row. And North Carolina is one of the better offenses in the country, and they ran the ball extremely well versus them 2 years ago. North Carolina did, and North Carolina has ran the ball well over the last 2 years. And they got after them pretty good up front. Virginia Tech did. So I don't necessarily think they're going to watch our film and say we got to do something different. Now they have it in the package, the same front that Maryland played, and I anticipate seeing that. Yes.
Who's been educating the players on the rivalry and the fact that Tech's ranked? Is that kind of lesson they need to build up the rivalry too much because the players can see that Tech's ranked and that's enough said there?
Yeah, they know. The players know that Virginia Tech's coming in the game ranked. Jeff Castile is on our staff as an analyst. He was a defense coordinator here under Rich Rod when this rivalry was really going strong, and so he's been educating myself, and we've been talking about it in our staff meetings, and we talked about it in depth yesterday with our team, and then he's going to talk to our team about it today.
Neal, after the Maryland game, you were talking about the need for better defensive rotations, especially in the line and in the secondary. Obviously, everybody played Saturday, so does that kind of help you establish who you want in and win, and kind of where you guys at with that going into Saturday?
Yeah, better. I think there's been confidence gained by some of those twos, for sure. We're gonna continue with that rotation that we have, and basically with you got Scotty Young, Jackie Smith, Jackie Matthews, Alonzo Adai, and then Sean Mahone that can play those 3 positions, cat, free, and spear, and there's flexibility there. So we'll continue that, which keeps all those guys fresh. You know, they played almost every snap versus Maryland. So we've got that figured out. And then defensive line, we've got a good rotation. You know, Sean Martin and Taj Austin. We played Jordan Jefferson more. Hammond Russell showed that he's capable of playing this level. And then Akeem, Jalen Thornton, and obviously with Dante. We feel like we can go too deep, and they've earned confidence through practice and through their performance through the first 2 weeks. So we'll continue with those rotations.
Neal, in your mind, what goes into making a rivalry, and what effect does it have on the intensity in a game?
Yeah. But I don't know if it's fair to ask me, because I haven't taken part in this rivalry yet, you know, and it's I think that for our fan base, you know, especially the fans that have been attending games here and been a fan of West Virginia athletics for a while, you know, I think this rivalry means something to them. Obviously, bordering states. You know, it was dormant for a while, then played again in 2017. I think Virginia Tech's won 7 out of the last 10. You know, they've won the last 3, and so they've had the upper hand here in recent years. And so, but haven't not taken part in it yet. I don't know if I'm educated enough to speak on it. I'll have a better idea when I come in here after the game on Saturday.
Do you run into these guys much in recruiting?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We cover a lot of the same ground.
And Neal, now that you've had some time to review, want to revisit Garrett, what you saw?
Yeah, so I think it was a mixed bag. You know, I think that first of all, what I was really proud of him is he tends to get really excited. I thought he handled himself well in that regard. If you remember when he played against Eastern Kentucky last year, he got a penalty one time, and I thought he was under control. He showed some maturity. I thought his run decisions were really good when he decided, you know, within the run game, what we were asking him to do within the read game. Thought he made good decisions. He missed some pre-snap reads that he probably should have thrown 4 or 5 more passes in the RPO games that we were asking him to do. I thought his vision once he scrambled was really good. I thought he had a great throw down the field. You know, with him, it's going to be a mixture. You don't want to contain what's the best thing about him, which is his ability to freelance and ability to make plays on the run, but you also don't want him breaking out every single time. And so we're working on finding kind of a happy medium. But there was more good. And the encouraging thing is the things that weren't exactly what we want or what we're teaching is we can get corrected.
You have a second guy that you try to use. How much of it is vulnerable to like conditions of a game, you know, field position, score, momentum?
You got to go in with an intentional plan. You know, that's I'm not saying that's the gospel. I'm saying that's how we've done it in the past. You know, if you look back at Troy, we were pretty intentional about playing our 2 quarterback a good bit, and you have to go into with significant plan. Where you run into some issues is just your ability to practice, your amount of practice repetitions you get, and you're limited time-wise. And our guys are so different, and so you got to make sure you're keeping it as close to the same as you can for your offensive line and your receivers.
Following up on Matthews, he was competing at corner, and now it's kind of moved to look like more in that safety, rover, different roles. Was it a combination of the way Porter's played or Matthews playing better at this spot? What went into that?
Yeah, and he played some corner on Saturday too. He's got some flexibility. That's a good thing. And that was one of the things that really drew us on to junior college, because at Gulf Coast Community College, he played it all. You know, he played everything, boundary safety, he played free safety, he played nickel, he played corner. And so he's kind of doing it all for us now too. We haven't asked him to be the high safety yet. Why we're finding more snaps for him, and we always talk about, hey, you earn what you get, and he's earning more playing time. So we're working on figuring out how to get him in the game. Just because he has gone and he's at the second and third levels, man. He has come and tackled well. He's defeated blocks on the perimeter better than anybody on our team so far. So we're finding reps for him because he's earned them. You know, and he's still practicing some at corner. He played in the game. He'll probably play in this game some at corner too. But when we get into some dime package stuff, we think he can be a difference maker there inside.
You had to live with a lot with Sam James. You stayed with him, and now it seems like he's paying off. But how important is that to a coach and to a player, the ability to stick with the guy?
Yeah, I think when guys have talent, it's easier to have patience with, and we talk about it with our kids. It's, we're always going to be fair. It's not necessarily always going to be equal, just based on certain criteria. And Sam, first of all, he's a great kid. I don't guess he's a kid. He's a great young man is probably the better way to put it. And he's been through a good bit, through our 3 years with him. He was here the year before when he redshirted. But he's a guy that he probably he got pressed into duty. He was our go-to receiver in 2019. He wasn't ready for it, but that was what we needed him to be. And he had some big successes, but he also had some moments that were tough to overcome. And then last year, a little bit of a mixed bag. And now I think the great lesson for him and really for the people on our team is his investment has been so high that he's reaping the benefits. And he's just worked. He's worked. He's always had speed, and he's always had talent. And now over the last really 9.5 months, his investment has been extremely high. And so it's starting to show up on game days.
With 2 games under your belt, what kind of a feel do you have at this point for how ready your team is to take on a ranked challenge in Virginia Tech? And what have you seen from your team that gives you confidence that you can maybe pull off the upset?
Yeah, well, so week 1, if you look at it, as we get away from it, that game basically came down to turnovers. I think it was 4-0. And so there were some things that we took away that we weren't necessarily pleased with how we played, but also, that's a team that's, they've got talent, and that they're going to be a good football team. They're going to have a good year at Maryland. So it wasn't. We learned that we can't turn the ball over. We learned that we've got to be better on both fronts. Wasn't fired up about how we played on defense. Last week, we got a lot of people playing. I don't know if we learned anything about our team. On the game day, we got better as the week went in practice. That's for sure. We practiced harder last week than we normally would because of who our opponent was on Saturday. And so I think the tell will be in how we perform on Saturday. It's a big game. It's a big game because this next game is a big game because it's a rivalry game. And so, I think we'll know a lot more about our football team on how we perform on Saturday.
A lot of talk about your quarterback. They played pretty kind of effectively last game. Didn't do that in the first game, but I'm guessing they got your attention. What did you see? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't want to take from them, but I think they go into it with Burmeister as their guy. I think he got hit one time in that game. He came out, and I thought the guy that played was really efficient. And I think that, and that's what you want when your guy goes down. You want somebody to come in and still run the offense and be really efficient. I thought they were, but we're preparing for Burmeister. I think that his ability with his feet makes them really hard to defend, especially when they play in 12 personnel because you got extra gaps to defend. So with his ability, they do a good job mixing up who he's reading too, and so it's going to be a challenge for us on defense.
I wanted to ask you about conference expansion. Just what do you think the 4 teams are going to bring to the Big 12? And then how do you feel in general about some of the jockeying for position that's going on throughout college football?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of give you a boring answer. I really hadn't thought about it. Honestly, I really haven't. Kind of let Shane and Dr. Gee deal with it. It kind of is what it is. I'm sure it'll come up next week too. I mean, it really doesn't affect anything we're doing here and now. We're so ingrained in trying to get better as a football team and trying to win games. So you don't really think about it. Our schedule's not going to change this year. It's probably not going to change next year. And so, as somebody that deals with this age bracket, if it doesn't affect them here and now, it doesn't really matter. So that's kind of how we've tackled it.
And Neal, you got to look at all your running backs Saturday. Obviously, Letty was the only one that carries against Maryland. I'm sure that wasn't ideal. Who kind of stood out to you Saturday? How important is it to maybe get 1 or 2 of those guys some work Saturday?
Yeah, well, we're going to need somebody to step up for sure. And Tony and Justin will kind of jockey to see who'll get those 2 reps. Tony earned them in fall camp. He's come back off a off an injury, a minor injury that he missed the Maryland game. I thought he was rusty. I thought missed 2 big runs, but he had a couple quality runs too. I thought Justin, for his first college action, was okay. He had 1 really good blitz pickup. He had 2 really good runs. He had a couple that he'd probably like to have back. And so I thought there were some flashes there. I think, Justin's a little antsy, Tony's a little rusty. So we'll figure out who's going to get those secondary carries by how they perform this week.
Where's Lance Dixon at now? How do you see him?
Yeah, he's work in progress. He can really run. He flashes. He's got to be more consistent. He's done a nice job on our kickoff team. He played a lot of snaps on Saturday. He's got to cut down on some of the mental errors, but he's athletic. He's really athletic, and he's probably as fast as anybody we have on defense.
Getting closer with Mike O'Loughlin.
Yeah, it's a hope. He did some things yesterday. He's on practice today, so we'll see where that goes.
Same with Darrell Milton. You just didn't mention him previously in rotations.
He played. He played on Saturday in the second half. He was okay. He's got to take care of business, taking care of his body and those type of things. He's learning. He hadn't practiced much with us. So whether he plays or not depends on what kind of week he has.
You've obviously got a really hellacious 2 games back-to-back here. And as tough as that is it good in a way that you're playing Tech this week because you know that no one's going to be looking ahead to Oklahoma as opposed to if you've been playing, some other less challenging team this week?
Yeah, but I would assume, we've got our hands full this week. I don't think our guys are necessarily looking ahead. We play a pretty difficult schedule, and so our guys are excited about this one. They're going to be excited about the next one, and so it's it's kind of it is what it is on it. We're going to play on national TV about every week. And we're excited to be home. I think that's the thing that people haven't talked about as much is I thought last week after our disappointing performance and then who we were playing last Saturday, I thought our fans turned out that they were in the game. I was really impressed that they stayed. I really was. I had some people visiting from out of town, and they talked about it. It's like, I can't believe how many fans stayed in the fourth quarter, and I thought that was extremely impressive. I think it speaks really well to our fan base. And now, really probably for the first time going back to 2019 when we played Texas, this is going to be an electric atmosphere on Saturday. Our guys are really looking forward to it, and it's going to be a fun day.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.